How's everybody doing? Good, good. First off, somebody called me? Oh, Happy New Year to you too. First off, man, I want to make sure I hit this. Man, thoughts and prayers to what's going on in the city of New Orleans. Man, I was there for 6 years, and man, to hear exactly what's going on, and I don't know all the ins and outs about it, but man, that's tough to see. It's tough to hear, and I just want to make sure I put that out there to everybody in that city, because I know what that city is about. It's a city with a lot of grinders, and they don't deserve that at all. So thoughts and prayers to the men and women, kids, everybody in New Orleans. This week's game, really good win by us as a team. Obviously, defensively in that first half, man, we did not play as well as we should play, and we understand that. But here's what I hang my hat on when it comes to us defensively, and I said this during the week on what I want to see is the adjustments that we made coming out of halftime, to where, man, our guys, we pressured Purdy as much as we can to try to get him to make some mistakes, because he's a damn good quarterback, and I said this last week that he's pretty surgical about what he do. But man, we want to combat that in the second half by making sure we get in his face and make him have some issues, and I thought we did that. And I thought that our top players outwilled their top players. And to me, that's what the focus is on for us. Like how many impact plays we can make and how our top players gonna outwill their top players. And we send Brian Branch on a blitz. He goes out there and he makes the play. We send Kirby Joseph on plays where he can get a chance to go and make some plays, and he does that. 3rd and 9, Amik Robinson makes a huge pass breakup. I played that we needed, and he did that. And that's what we're looking for, because last year, and I told you guys, we didn't have that. Those were the guys that was making those plays. But this is the year our guys are making them. And that's what we focus on. Listen, are we where we need to be defensively? Not at all. We understand that, right? But where we are is we're making impact plays. At times we need to make them, and I'm proud of our guys for doing that. So any questions?
You have to get to where you need to be, or can you win a Super Bowl doing what you're doing now?
Absolutely, you can. Right. The thing is, I go back and I look at the Ravens. No one thought they could win a Super Bowl, but I don't know, they was averaging 13, 14 points a game with Trent Dilfer, the quarterback, but they found ways to win. Right. I know New England had some defenses that wasn't top of the charts, and they won Super Bowls. New Orleans won the Super Bowl in 2009. The thing they had is like 36 takeaways, right? But they won a top defense going that year. So you damn right we can do it. The thing that we have to continue to do is make these impact plays that we've been making. We're going to continue to do that.
For linebackers of playing play action.
Say it again.
What's the art of linebackers playing play action?
Yeah, that's Aaron Glenn right there. We're going to get to the coordinators today on this episode of Lion Villain
Yo, the lies so that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, candles open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes wet. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose when I get to, never lose smooth on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running it, maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision and pay me, it's never the sway me. Indigenous, maybe we winning this crazy. Your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity.
Yeah, welcome. Welcome one, welcome all, ladies and gentlemen, to the Lion Villain Report. Welcome. It's Friday, TGI Friday. It's your boy. It's Russell Wayne. Now. Into the Lion Villain Squad Facebook page. We are growing and growing and growing. over 61,000 villains. And we're going to have Leon Phelps all the way through to 70,000. Thank you to everybody that's acknowledging the villain by following the page, just like Leon Phelps follows the page right there. Yeah. I got my warm bottle of Cavaquier right here. We're getting ready. We're getting ready for the Vikings on Sunday. I like it. They get so excited when the Lions be winning. But what is a Packer? Broadcasting live into the Villain Squad YouTube page. There it is. The YouTube page at Lions Villain Squad. Yes. Support the UDFA of sports podcasting, like any of these platforms that you're on. Liking, sharing, commenting. That helps the algorithm, man. We're out here working. That's what we do. We're not the best podcast, but we're working. We're grinding. We're going to keep grinding until we are the best podcast. So let's get it going. Lion Villain Report. That's the Tom Kennedy, baby. Tom Kennedy was released or waived. He'll clear waivers, and then he'll be back on the practice squad. Again, you can't kill this guy. You can't kill this guy. You can't stop him. Oh, hell yeah. If you're down with the Detroit Lions going all the way to the Super Bowl and winning it, give me a hell yeah in the comments. You got to like that. That's right. This episode of Lion Villain Report is brought to you by NFL Shop. Right there it is. You can get 25% off of your order by scanning that QR code or using the link in the comments right there for NFL Shop, our affiliate marketing partners. If you want to partner with the Villain Squad, we're heading into playoff season. We have a network of over 150,000 people that include the Detroit Lions News Podcast. We're broadcasting live in there. Thank you to Joe Chapman and boys over there. They always do the Lions post-game show. I'm going to try to make it on there this week. But if you want to partner with the Villain, you want to be guilty by association, you own a business, you live in the state of Michigan, and you love the Detroit Lions, get a hold of Main Event Mike 810-620-2167 and find out how you can harness the power of the Villain. It's faith, family, and then football. On here, we use football to create memories and spend time with our family. We don't let football use us. That's how we do it here. But welcome to the program. This is our Friday edition, and the coordinators usually talk on Thursday, and that's what we do. We want to do the Villain takeaways from the press conferences right here. And you heard a little bit from Aaron Glenn right there. But I want to say hello to everybody in the chat first. Good morning to everybody. Good morning to Tavy.
You like that?
Good morning. Good morning, Danny and Leo.
You like that? You like that?
Good morning to the Central Scrutinizer.
Say hello to my little friend.
Jay Smooth is up in the house. Jeffrey Addison is present and accounted for. Kyle's up in the house.
You like that?
John's up in the house. Oh, yeah.
You like that?
Good morning, Tyler. We're going to get to your question right there as I'm going through here. I want to say hello to everybody first. Get that swag, baby. Use our link and get that swag. Help save you a little bit of money. But I am going to get to your question. Scotty's up in the house. Leo's up in the house. I think I've said hello to everybody. If I forgot somebody, I am so sorry. How many points per game has the Lions defense given up since Anzalone went out? Thought you might have this info. So when did he go out? I don't have the info on hand, but we'll figure it out. I think Anzalone went out, was it 6 weeks ago? So 6 weeks ago, I have to look back in there. Let's see when the last spot was that we had Alex Anzalone. So let's go through here. We do this little experiment here. I can do this with you. So let's see. So we had the 49ers there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Was it the Colts? No, it was before that. Was it in the Jaguars game? Let's look in there. Player stats. We got Alex Anzalone in there. Where did he get injured? Must have been before that. No, wait. I'm on the Jaguar side. Won't see him there. Okay, he played in the Jaguars game. So it must have been after the Jaguars game. Where'd that Jaguars game go? Right here. Did he play in the Colts game? I went to that game. I should know that. Alex Anzalone, were you in there? So he must have gotten injured during. I'm just looking through here. I'm not seeing him in there. So he must have gotten injured during the Jacksonville Jaguars game. Broke his arm. Or maybe he got injured during this game, but it didn't say that he took any snaps. So I'm thinking that he must have gotten injured during that Jaguars game. Then they gave up 6 points, 23 points, 31 points, 48 points, 17 points, and then 34 to the 49ers, which they had kind of a garbage touchdown at the end of the game. That was whatever. I mean, they had no chance to win. So, to answer your question, I gotta find you in here. Dang it, I lost the question. Damn it. Who's feeling it? There you go. Sorry, took so long. How many points per game has the Lions defense given up? Thought that I might have the info. So it looks like they've given between 20 and 30. You'd say that because you got 34, 17. I mean, they have a couple low ones in there with the Colts. So that'll help the average in there a little bit. But 20 points to the Bears, 31 points to the Packers. So we got to score. I mean, I think that's the point that you're trying to make with that. You know, they're trying to score. So, I mean, somewhere, probably over 25 points. And when they had Anzalone and Hutchinson in there, they were well under 20. So, it's all good. It's all good. If the NFL were to make any changes for to know how the playoffs are operated, I don't know. I like the way I'm pretty cool with it. Why did the Vikings bring a ladder to the tavern? He heard the drinks were on the house.
You like that?
Jay Smooth, what's up, buddy?
Say hello to my little friend.
Let's see what you got here. Do you feel that any team in the NFL should play against their division rival team in the playoffs after playing them twice in the regular season? Well, yeah. I mean, everything that you do, Danny, in the regular season is just to give yourself a spot. You know, you want to make it to the tournament. You know, all the regular season stuff, that's fine. But at the end of the day, your first priority, you know, the basic priority is to make it to the tournament. And once you make it to the tournament, and you have that, then you're trying to win your division. And then after that, you're working for seeding. But when it comes down to our division just having the best teams in it, well, yeah. On your way, once you get to the tournament, on your way to the Super Bowl, obviously you're going to have to run across the best teams, right? I like it. I like what's happening. I was rooting for the Minnesota Vikings last week because I want the smoke. This is why we watch football. Honestly, I know that everyone, the heart rates go up and it's all stressful, but that's why it's the greatest competition in the world. 11 on 11. You're talking about, the battle of wills. You're talking about, playing 60 minutes and it comes down to a couple of plays that are made here and there that decide the entire game, every game, even blowouts. It gets to be a blowout because of certain plays that were made. There were plays within that blowout that broke the other team. But 70% of all games that are played are decided between 7 points. That's why I think it's a funny flex when someone's like, well, we only lost by 7 points in 50 games. It's like, well, you should have played better. The teams that win those close games are the best teams, the ones that know how. So I absolutely feel that any team in the NFL should play against their division rival team. Again, absolutely. Kyle says, I don't think that Anzalone plays this game, still limited to practice. I'd rather lose this game without him and then have him in the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, they've been playing without him. Honestly, the most continuity that they could have is to not play Anzalone, or if they play him, to play him just a little bit. I think he'll play a little bit. Jeffrey says, hey, yeah, I am here. Let's talk about the biggest game in NFL history. I can forego all the coordinator stuff. I can do that. But I do like to talk about the coordinators because he'll give us insight. Good morning, Tyler. Tyler has a question. Oh, I went past. I went back before. I am sorry. I wanted to go through what's cracking, party people. Even Broski's in the house. I promise not to let him take over. Jimmy says that we're still a juggernaut. I like that.
You like that?
See, I like that respect. And then I think that we get respect from the Packer fans that come in here because we give them respect when they deserve it. And even though you're in third place, Green Bay, you would be leading like 4 other divisions in the NFL right now. So let's pump the brakes on the Packers falling off. I hardly call going from 9 wins to 11 wins falling off. So they're getting better. The Lions go from 12 to 14, maybe 15 wins. They're getting better. Minnesota's getting better. You got to like that. DJ says that Goff is 75% against the blitz. I hope that Flores keeps being predictable. See, the Lions have the kryptonite on offense for Minnesota Vikings. I don't care about their rankings. The fact of the matter is Goff picks up the blitz, or the offensive line picks up the blitz. And when they do that, what's really happening is you're just wasting a guy. You send 6 guys, the Lions just pick it up. That's what they do. When you play elite pass blocking and run blocking teams, that's what happens. Oh, we're going to blitz everybody. Pick up. Goff surveys the field with 2 less people, finds the wide open guy. It's easy. The only way that blitzing is going to work against the Lions on Sunday is if the players are starting to win their one-on-one matchups. You have to get pressure on Goff by your guys winning. They have to win on the line of scrimmage. Each individual defensive lineman has to be able to get pressure to Goff. Now, once the pressure gets to Goff, that's when you're in an advantage on Goff, because you can sack him because he's not mobile. But that's the problem. Your problem isn't Goff being efficient. Your problem is the offensive line not letting you get there. So there's a big problem with that. And Goff being 75% versus the blitz, you try to blitz him, he's going to carve you up. Jeremy B's up in the house. What's up, buddy? Jeremy B going to be over on the Huddle Sports Network here in about a half an hour with Ken and Ken. Let's not forget that Brian Flores and the vaunted Minnesota defense never held the Lions offense below 30 points. Yep. And that's what I was talking about. You know, I don't care about, the Vikings, they're number 1 against the run. They're not number 1 against our run. Our team runs all over Minnesota. You guys can't stop our run. We averaged almost 8 yards a carry the last time we played you. And don't give me that crap you had one guy out. We had our whole defense has been out. Been missing offensive linemen all year. Garrett's in the house. He says, "Skull, baby. Hey, it's game week. I got nothing but respect for the Skull. The Skull earned their spot into this game. And the Lions earned their spot into this game. The biggest regular season game in NFL history. 14-2 versus 14-2. Come on! It don't get any better. Alex Anzalone was a full participant yesterday. He'll have a cast on. Oh, wait, let's take a look at this. Come on, Aaron Glenn. Teach me, oh great one.
You've got obviously a really great play-action quarterback here that gives you plenty of good looks, but San Francisco's really good at it, had some success there, and then Minnesota may be one of the best in the league this year. So what's the key for your second-level guys on those plays?
Well, it depends on if you're in man or zone coverage, right? If you're in man coverage, man, your eyes have to be focused on your man. And sometimes that's hard to do because you want to make so many plays, and if you have a man and you're in a C gap, all right, and you end up puncturing that C gap, when that guy that's in that gap is your man, and he end up trying to block and then get out. That's a tough situation for some guys, all right? But the thing is, you just have to continue to trust your ability, all right, to cover your guy and still be able to have your gap. That's one situation that's pretty tough. But our guys try to do as good a job as they can in that situation because we expect you to be physical and get downhill. When you're in zone coverage, when you have a gap and you get downhill, man, now you have to get ready to punch out and be able to hit your landmark drop, which our guys work on every day. So you can sit back and allow teams to get 5-6 yards a carry, or you can stop those and end up punching back in zone coverages and try to do the best you can. I want our guys to be physical. I want our guys to attack the line of scrimmage, and that's what we're going to do.
Dan said yesterday it sounds possible that Alex could return for this game on Sunday. What have you missed, just on the field since he's been gone?
Alex is a unique guy, and the way I say that is because he's always upbeat. Nothing ever gets him down, no matter what the situation is. And him and Jack are two totally different people. Jack is a serious, always here. Alex can be here a little bit, and that's not a bad thing. Actually, it's a good thing because it keeps me centered for the most part. So, But just him, his presence, his common presence, and the players are just so used to him being around, so, and that's nothing against Jack or whatnot. They're just two totally different people in how they operate. But listen, I'm looking forward to getting him back out there. I can't say if he'll be out there this week. He's getting himself back acclimated to how we do things and practicing. So hopefully we get him back really soon.
You got 3 years of experience with Jefferson in the division.
Yeah.
You know who he is and what he's capable of. Just what have you learned from those matchups through the years here?
I haven't learned anything. I already know it, so man, he is a special one. He's my type of guy. And you see the way that he's playing is starting to permeate through some of those other receivers. And the reason why I say that is I'm watching today, and I'm watching them against Jacksonville, and I see Addison go across the middle in the red zone. I mean, he takes a hit, and you see Jefferson goes over there and picks him up, like, let's get up, get back to the huddle. If you're hurting, let the huddle see it, not the defensive guys. I think he's one of the toughest guys playing that position. He's an old school player in my opinion. It's almost like he's a defensive guy playing receiver. But listen, we're going to do everything we can to stop him. I thought the first game we did a pretty good job of limiting what he can do. I know he made the one play on the Meek. And we're going to try to continue to do that. Listen, great players are going to end up making plays at some point in the game. And it's hard to hold those guys down, but we're going to do everything we can to do it. This is going to be a fun game, I'm just telling you that right now. And we are looking forward to it because there's no better way to end this season than playing against a team like that. So it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah. Justin Jefferson deserves all the respect in the world. I mean, that's where you're at with that. Justin Jefferson deserves all the respect in the world. He makes everybody around him better. He picks up their team. I mean, he's the highest paid wide receiver in the league. He's the best wide receiver in the league. And the Minnesota Vikings have that guy. And I think he might be the best player on the field, period. It's either that or Penei Sewell. But when it comes down to this game, it's about making sure that you step on the gas and that they can't catch up. That's got to be the Lions' style. We got 0-16 blame refs, no kiddies right there. We got some trolls in the house. Welcome, trolls. Broski's in there trying to troll a little bit. I love how I get more trolls at the end of the night than anything else. The Lions have 0 Super Bowls. And I mean, I don't know what I can say to a Chiefs fan in here. Chiefs fans going for 3 in a row. Chiefs fans like trying to do something that no one's ever done just to have a chance at that. You might come in here and disrespect me, but I'm not going to disrespect the Chiefs. Why would I disrespect the Chiefs? I mean, we beat you last year, but, you get the ultimate laugh when you win the Super Bowl. So, I appreciate you coming in here. And if we're overrated, overhyped fraud, another choke, okay, whatever. We've never won before, so I don't know what it feels like to win. So, congratulations on your great team. And I hope that we do get to face you in the Super Bowl so I can shut your mouth. I'd love to be the one to close the door on your team. Shut it. Shut that three-peat door and get the Lions' very first Super Bowl win. Because here's the thing. All the teams have a chance. All you got to do is make the tournament. All you got to do is make the tournament. Minnesota has a chance to win the Super Bowl. Green Bay has a chance to win the Super Bowl. The Kansas City Chiefs have a chance to three-peat. Lots of teams have came close. New England was close. Dallas. You might as well say Dallas was close. They won 3 out of 4 a year. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. But I don't see where you think that the Lions are frauds. They've won every big game other than the Buffalo game. I mean, you go 14-2. None of the teams win all their games. And we've done it with less. We've done.
What's here? Where do you see his development from his time with Minnesota?
Well, they're targeting him quite a bit, which is pretty interesting. That once he gets back, that he's getting the ball as much as he's getting. But we know that he's a good player, so and that doesn't surprise me. Savvy, smart, understands how to get open his own coverage. So we have to make sure we eliminate that as much as possible and don't allow him to find these zones, be able to sit down and be a target for the quarterback. So we have different packages that we're going to put on him to make sure we try to stymie him. And listen, we're going to do everything we can to get to this quarterback so he can get the ball out also. So there's a number of things that we plan on doing. But I tell you what, man, this is a good team. And obviously we know how their offense is. And I know B-Flow's going to do a good job with their defense. But I do know Ben's going to do a good job on the offensive side. So, again, from both parties, we're looking forward to this one.
What are your thoughts on Brian Branch being Pro Bowl? But more than that, what are his intangibles about wanting to improve?
That player is so hard on himself. It kind of reminds me of who I was as a player, of want to be perfect in everything, or trying to perfect your craft of who you want to be, who you're trying to be. He asks the right questions. His practice habits are like no other, and that's pre-practice, during practice, and after practice of him trying to improve. In every part of his game, he wants to make sure he's top notch. I'm not surprised that he's a Pro Bowler. That's not what he's looking at. All right, he's just looking at trying to be the best he can. If anything like that comes along, it comes along. He just wants to be the best player he can, and that's no different than Kirby Joseph. I mean, to me, Kirby Joseph is a Pro Bowler also. He might not have it by name, all right, but he is a Pro Bowler, in my opinion. I think he's a Pro Bowler in a lot of people's opinion across this league, too. And we know where that all comes from, all right? But he is one of the best, if not the best, safety in this league also.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about it. The popularity contest known as the Pro Bowl. I'm happy that Brian Branch got in there. I am. And the thing is, I'm not even mad that Kirby Joseph isn't in there. It just proves the hypocrisy of the league. How they choose that over a popularity contest. And you know what? That's why I've never put much stock into the Pro Bowl. If you want to put stock into something, watch who wins All-Pro. All-Pro, that's by the players and the coaches. Those are the people that vote on that actually know football. The All-Pros tell you who the best players are. Last year, Amon-Ra St. Brown didn't make the Pro Bowl, but he was a first-team All-Pro because they knew. There was no Justin Jefferson in that race last year because he was injured. It was Amon-Ra. Amon-Ra was the first-team All-Pro on the NFC side and didn't even make the Pro Bowl. Same thing's going to happen. Same thing's going to happen to Kirby Joseph. Kirby Joseph is going to be a first-team All-Pro, probably with Xavier McKinney. And it's all good. It's all good. You know what? Because the accolades don't mean anything. It's not going to mean nothing unless they win the Super Bowl. They won't win nothing. So, I'm not going to get mad about Pro Bowl snubs, but he got snubbed. You can't lead the league in interception. A Pro Bowl's a joke. So, but it's okay. It's okay. We're not going to go there, but I just wanted to come in and acknowledge this part of the press conference right there. He is one of the best safeties in the league. He deserves to be a Pro Bowler. He's played better. He played better than Xavier McKinney. More interceptions, lower passer rating when thrown to. He's better against the run. I mean, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. But here's some more Aaron Glenn.
He doesn't need that as motivation. He knows he's a good player. What he needs to know, he has, 9 interceptions, a ton of tackles. He's made impact plays, as we saw last week, and that was done on national TV. So he doesn't need that as motivation.
He's past them in the voting list.
I think we all know that, all right? But it is here. It is what it is. Thing is, he knows who he is.
Going back to Hawkinson, do you feel like teams have, targeted the tight end more, obviously given the linebacker injuries, or that has it been neutralized a little bit by what Kirby has been able to provide for you guys?
Are you asking about the tight ends?
And how teams have kind of, incorporated them, used them more, given the injuries that you've had at linebacker, and then also, but...
Oh, you're talking about against us?
Against us.
Got you.
Yeah.
Listen, I think when you look at us, first off, let's go back. We had Carlton out there. Carlton is one of the top corners in this league, so I don't think a lot of people really targeted him. I think TA early on, he was getting targeted a lot. Then he started improving really, all right? So I don't think his targets actually up to where they were early in the season. Amik's always been a dog. He's always been a guy that's been really good in coverage. And I just think at some point they were like, okay, well, who am I going to go at? All right, and then they start going at the tight end. So, and I can just tell you totally, I mean, is it a matchup problem or whatnot? I do know that our guys do a good job in the coverage area, all right, when it comes to man coverage. We just got to continue to improve on some of the explosive plays and some of the mistakes as far as switching off on guys and making sure that we don't have anybody running wide open.
How do you explain, the renaissance of his career? How have you seen him change?
Listen, you see that where you've seen that with Baker Mayfield. You see it with him. Man, there are some of these quarterbacks or players in this league that people just give up on so fast. And sometimes the environment has a lot to do with that. And I think he's gotten to an environment to where he can woosah. I think it all started when he went to San Francisco, and then he ended up going to Minnesota. And listen, O'Connell's a really good coach. And when you get around that, and you get around players that believe in you also, I think everything that you've built yourself up to be really starts to come out. And I think that's what he's doing right now. He's always had the talent. I think he's always had the mentality to be a good player. And I think now you're starting to see it come out, just like you did with you see with Baker right now. So,
all right. Yeah, so that's future. And I love some of the stuff that he says. This is why I love the coordinator talk. To me, it's like you learn more from the insight of the coordinators. And the defense. I love this defense because usually when you're talking about the weaknesses of a defense, it's like it feels like it should be like a doom and gloom thing. But with the Lions, it's like we have so many young players that are ascending. And I love how he talked about at the beginning of the season when you put Terrion Arnold out there. I mean, teams attacked him as they should attack him. This is the NFL. It's not like they go, well, we can't go after Terrion Arnold today because he's only a rookie. No, good defensive coordinators are going to be like, hey, or good offensive coordinators are like, hey, he's a rookie. We're going to pepper him today. We're going to throw a bunch of targets at him today. He got a lot of penalties. He didn't have a good first part of the season. But then he started getting better. And then now teams aren't even throwing that way as much. They're not attacking Terrion Arnold as much because he got better in that spot. So now you got to worry more about, these linebackers being able to cover in the middle and holding TJ Hawkinson from having a huge day because they go with the tight ends in the middle. And last week you saw a perfect example of something working and then working and then working, and you got to do something about it. They keep getting burnt over the middle of the field. And then all of a sudden they try to go over the middle of the field, interception. Try to go over the middle of the field, interception. The first interception was created off of pressure. And that's what Mike says, bring the heat. And I can appreciate that. You need to get pressure. You got to get the guy off of his spot. You want to force him to make, errors in his throws. Put too much air underneath of it, and then you get an easy interception. Or you go to the well one too many times, over the middle route that Kirby jumps. Like, I would be more concerned about our defense if the defensive struggles were in the second half and not the first half. I would rather be working on trying to fix playing defense in the first half so you don't have to. So when you make the adjustments, you're not already, giving up 21 points. You have to make the adjustments. So the Lions are good at making the adjustments, but it seems like the original game plan that we get burnt in the first half right now with the defense. So if you're going to correct that, I'm glad to be correcting that, other than having a good game plan and then having somebody be able to come back because they make the adjustments and not us. Right now, it's the other way around. So I like the idea of bringing heat because you want to get the guy off the spot. But the weakness to bringing the heat is if they pick up the blitz, then you got a wide open spot out there. There's risk versus reward when it comes with that. If you're going to blitz and it gets picked up, you might give up a big play. Why is that guy so wide open? It might be because they blitzed, Mike. That guy was so wide open because the guy that was going to be in that spot was going after the quarterback and they didn't get to him. So when they talk about having a good game flow, and being able to play the script that is in front of you, which is whatever has led up to that point. Finding ways to win. I love the analogy of like a old school karate fight, right? Where you got all the dodge, and then all of a sudden somebody lands a shot, but it's not the end of the fight. But sometimes you're just doing your dodge, duck, and parry, but it'll take you into a scenario, right? And they practice these scenarios all the time. It could be a 4-minute scenario. The Lions might be down by 10 and have to use a scenario to come back, or they might be up by 10 and they might have to use the 4-minute scenario. The Lions are learning how to win all these games because every game is going to line up differently. And you have to be able to go with whatever's being thrown at you. Now, the Lions offense, I have no problem. There's not a defense that's out there that the Lions haven't figured out by the end of the game. Other than the very, very beginning of the season. And, I give Tampa Bay all the credit in the world for winning that game. But the Lions are still finding themselves in the second game of the season. You can't decide what any team is you got to get 8 weeks in, 10 weeks in, and then you're going to kind of figure out what your team is. Well, the Lions offense is unstoppable for 4 quarters. The best that people have been able to do is like what Buffalo did, was come out with a good game plan at the beginning, be able to get a couple stops and get a lead, and just be able to step on the gas and just stay ahead of the Lions. Everybody else, the Lions have been in control. And even the Buffalo Bills, after those first 2 drives they stopped us, the Lions scored on every possession after that. So Ben Johnson will crack your code by the end of the game. You just got to hope and pray, if you're playing defense against the Lions, that they don't come right out hot, because there's not adjustments. Like, you make an adjustment, we'll adjust to your adjustment. Because we have so many different playmakers. You try to take away the middle of the field, we got wide receivers you can't catch. If you try to keep us from going deep, then we're just going to eat you up in the middle and run the football. It sucks. Sucks for you. Now, the defense, on the other hand, our defense has got to continue to go out there and try to get takeaways and be aggressive. Try to steal possessions away. And that's the style that we're playing. And sometimes when you're playing that style, you give up big plays. You do. It is that, I mean, risk versus reward, right? That's what we've been talking about. I'm not going to go and do David Phipp. I know some of you guys, maybe I'll come in and stay late. If you guys want, I'll go back and do Dave Phipp. Let me get this up. But I wanna be able to give you Ben Johnson before we leave in there. So
how are we doing?
So here's
Good.
Ben Johnson.
Listen, I'm gonna just talk about this one coming up, man. This is it's a huge one, as we all know. Great game against a great opponent back at home here. So really looking forward to it. The last time we played these guys, there's a lot of back and forth. They started off hot, then we were able to respond there second quarter and third quarter, and then came down to the wire. So good team, great defense, really well coached, great players all across the board, and looking forward to this opportunity.
Call it perfect or anything, but the consistency of your offense in terms of point production has taken a pretty big step forward this year. You know, what would you say has been the key to kind of getting that consistency that all coaches covet?
I don't know if I always feel the same way that you do by saying that. I mean, we've had a number of 20-point games that we felt like, as a coaching staff and players, that there was more out there to be had. So I would say the last probably 4 or 5 games we've been playing more consistent football, less 3 and outs. That's really where I gauge it more off of, is, are we able to move the ball? Not everything's going to be perfect every week or every series or every play, but we've had guys stepping up, and when it's not perfect, they're over there making it right. So J-Mo's one of those guys. St. Brown's one of those guys. Gibby's one of those guys. We had a play last week where trying to do a little misdirection, in the end didn't take the cheese and should have been a tackle for loss, and then next thing you know, Gibby's crossing court and going the other direction and makes it a positive play. So I think that has a lot to do with it. These guys are going out, they're playing confident football, and they're playing really well right now. Yeah, Jared got a nice one. That helps his PFF grade, I think.
Just coaching J-Mo, you're such a precision guy. Like, everything's got to be perfect, and J-Mo sometimes is a wild card out there, and it makes him fun to watch. But like, how long did it take you to kind of form that relationship to get on the same page with him on your demands, the precision you demand on the field?
Yeah, it's been a learning experience for everybody. I think since he got in the building here, it's been all of us coaches, Coach Campbell, myself, all of us have been on board trying to have him understand the expectation and what we really need, what Jared needs, what the O-line needs, what we all need for this whole thing to work. And it's taken a little bit of time, but it's really taken off now at this point. He's very detailed. Very smart, and that might go unnoticed, but you say something to him and you coach him, and it hits him. He understands it, and so I think because he's so smart, he's able to really grasp what we're trying to do, and it's just a matter of getting him all the reps and all the looks, and he's been really good here second half of the season.
We all enjoyed, watching the matchup between you and Brian Flores, but as you continue to kind of have more of them, how does that change, I guess, the game theory that goes on with the play calling and, trying to beat his tendencies and his yours?
Yeah, no, he does a great job. He does a great job. It's each week you try to find a weakness in the armor and look to attack it. And this defense, it just doesn't have much. And it's been that way for 2 years now. You can tell that this whole unit, they've been together. They've been playing in this scheme. They have the answers. They know when they get hit with something, how to respond. He always has a curveball every week. You know, I think Matt LaFleur said last week they weren't anticipating quite as much man as they got there early in the game and had to make some adjustments. So there's no question, as a coaching staff, all of us, we have to be on our P's and Q's and just make sure we're able to respond if he's hitting us with something that we weren't necessarily prepared for.
Brian, I mean, I know you guys were almost cross paths in Miami, or maybe he didn't retain you. I don't know the full story there, but is there any, when you play a guy like that you...
Yeah, listen, I knew of him because he's a Boston College guy, and that's where I did my GA spot. And, of course, he's in New England, and we faced across the sideline there for a number of years. But I didn't get to know him. I met him at the Combine a couple years ago. Seems like a great guy, has a great reputation. When he took that job in Miami, he had a staff already in his head with who he wanted, so I was let go, and that was that.
Last 2 seasons, Dan Skipper has found an interesting role in this offense as the 6th offensive lineman, jumbo tight end, now catching passes from time to time. When did you realize you had something in him? Because I know he's bounced around the league a bit. Was there a certain point that you realized? And is there anything about him that makes you trust him in those situations?
Yeah, this goes back to the pre-Campbell days because Dan's been in and out for a number of years here. He brings all that energy and enthusiasm to the practice field every day. He only knows green light, red light. It's stop or go, and that's what you're going to get from him. So when you see a guy that practices that way and he loves the game like he does, once we got him on the roster, we knew we wanted to get him out on the field because we know what he's going to bring to the table. He's one of those glue guys. We have a number of those guys on this team that fly under the radar a little bit, but they play critical roles for us, and he certainly does that.
After your decision to come back last year, just the lack of control of what people say about you, being in the media, and how difficult that is. It's the same thing right now. You have contrary reports, saying one thing about you, another thing about you at the same place. Like, how do you drown that all out? Because I'm sure it all gets followed up to you, sent to you through different channels.
This is exactly where I need to be right now. And I think I've talked about it before. There's an obligation to the people in this building, and I'm going to honor that obligation. It's nothing but the Minnesota Vikings right now.
It's a follow-up question about Jameson. When Stan said at the beginning of the year, the goal for him was to kind of be a reliable number 2, trustworthy. Just from your perspective, then, from what you see about his development, how can he get potentially to be?
I want to just stop it right there for a second and really appreciate what he just said right there. One of the things I love about Ben Johnson, and this is like through all of the BS that's out there, and the speculation of him going to this team or that team and how he's just going to be a head coach somewhere else. He says, I'm going to honor the obligation. He isn't even going to talk about it because he's so focused on his job. I'm going to honor my obligation. And we're only focused on the Minnesota Vikings. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to stay, but it does mean that his word means more than making $15, $20 million a year right now as a 38-year-old man and going and taking that opportunity. And it tells me there is a chance that Ben Johnson may stay, because to me, it means more to him than money. He's rich. He's making good money right now. And he will get a head coaching job. And by the time he takes a head coaching job, hell, it may be $20 million a year by then. So I think he's good to lay low and be the king of the offensive coordinator domain for as long as he wants. And that head coaching job's always going to be there. It's not going to go away. This offense isn't going to all of a sudden not start work anymore. These players are just now going into their prime. Jahmyr Gibbs. Wow. That's awesome that Jahmyr Gibbs is a Detroit Lion, and we ain't even going to have to worry about extending him for 2 more years. We got players like that. But that's awesome. I love that he said that. Thank you, Ben Johnson.
Considered like a number 1 in the category, like a Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, based on what you can see from his development.
Yeah, he certainly has that ability. Obviously, his superpower is his speed, and that's shown up every game. We're looking to create space for him and get the ball in his hands so that he can have run after catch or get over the top of the defense. And what we've seen from training camp until now is other parts of the game develop, have a lot more trust in his route tree that's really grown over the course of the season. We try to challenge him with some new things every week that maybe he hasn't done quite yet. And I'm really excited to see how that expands. You know, a full off season of spring training camp, healthy, no outside noise would continue his development in a good way.
That's Jamison Williams he's talking about right there. I mean, let's talk about that, the improvement. I mean, you're talking about a guy that, maybe get 4 targets in a game, 2 catches. I mean, all of last year, he has all the ability in the world, I mean, you can watch him run these routes and you can see him out there, but Ben Johnson had to teach him how to work in this offense. That's the thing. You can have a route tree. He had a route tree coming out. I remember doing the profile on him. He can run any route. Best wide receiver in that draft class. If he didn't have the ACL, he would have been first wide receiver taken, for sure. He had the route tree, but that route tree has to work within the schematics of the offense. And now he's starting to learn how to run these routes and get open within these schemes that work within Amon-Ra St. Brown, working off of him and working off of Sam Laporta, working off of the run game, being in the perfect place at the perfect time, and then using your speed. So I love it. Continue to work with him, and maybe it'll pay off with the Lions' first Super Bowl if they can be unstoppable and continue to be unstoppable.
Less carries last week, and you still got more yards out of him, and you get 66 yards out of Craig Reynolds and 9 touchdowns. Just how has that evolved in the 2 games without David Montgomery, and is that kind of what you envisioned last week?
Yeah. Both those guys have done a great job for us. Jefferson got some burn too, and same with Vaki. We really like that rotation right now, and honestly, it hasn't really changed how we approach the run game in terms of schematics. We felt all year long that Gibby and Demo are equally successful doing the same things, and that really hasn't changed our mindset the last couple games. So hopefully we can continue that trend, and both those guys play big roles for us, Craig and Gibby.
Maybe to piggyback on that, have you noticed with Gibbs carrying more of the load, have defenses changed at all, the way they attack you? Because he is a little bit more dangerous in the pass game.
Yeah, I have not seen that, maybe. Yeah, I have not seen that quite as much. Each week we do something a little bit different with them, maybe from the backfield or extend them out wide, but that's kind of been the theme all year long. But didn't see anything from San Fran that was anything different than we expected.
Going back to before he got here, I mean, Jared's kind of the narrative around him was that he wasn't good under pressure. It had to be perfect, but he was, in the Week 7 game against the Vikings was 10 of 11 for 102, I think, or 164 and 2 touchdowns. I mean, how much is it him, and how much is it your play design against, pressure, and also his connection with Amon, as a hot receiver?
Listen, the guy was the number 1 pick for a reason. He's been super talented throwing the football, and here he is entering year 9, and he's got all these banked reps from LA and now Detroit, and they all add up. And so the defense is moving slower. He knows where his eyes need to go. He knows what he's trying to do. we're really aggressive at times with what we put on his plate, and he doesn't bat an eye, and really he embraces it. He came in this morning and he's like, hey, load me up, I'm ready to go. So that's what we try to do, and it's a credit to him that he wants to be able to control all that. He's playing so well post snap, and you guys are seeing that there's not enough appreciation for what he does before the snap, with the cadence, the motions, the shifts, the premier plays that we try to get into at times, and that's what really, I think, makes our offense special.
Just being able to have that option there. I mean, in that game, and he was targeted the most. He had 8 targets, and the 112 yards, and the 35-yard touchdown where, I mean, they ran like that cover 0 look, and probably 10-6 guys after.
Yeah, I mean, the stress obviously is on the unit up front. The O-line, the running backs, when we face a team like this, I think the big completion to Saint that you're talking about, Panay had a hell of a block on that one. So really, as long as we can buy him enough time, he's doing a nice job finding those outlets, and Saint has found a way to be that guy over the last couple years. So it'll take all hands on deck, though, with this crew. I know he'll throw something at us that we haven't seen.
You talked about with J-Mo, and it kind of piggybacks what you were just talking about with Jared. The intelligence of this offense, we can see the runs and the athleticism. How important is the intelligence from the offensive line to everybody being on the same page, to you guys throwing a bunch on them? It seems like that's an underrated aspect of what you guys are doing.
Yeah, and listen, we do it because we can. That's why this offense is the way it is because we have smart players. We have a veteran offensive line that's played a lot of ball. We have a quarterback that can handle a lot on his plate, and we've got good, smart perimeter guys that are willing to block and do all the dirty work and prepare during the course of the week. And so, I mean, I'm so fortunate as a coordinator because when you have that, now, you take the governor off and you can do almost anything that you want to do. And it's not like that every place. I know I've been a number of places, number of different offenses and coordinators, and we just couldn't push it to this level. And as a credit to the guys, it has nothing to do with us as a coaching staff, but we'll push it as long as we think it's sound and it can help them out. We'll push it to the limit.
Sam early in the season, just kind of a sluggish start. He had the injury camp. Last 4 games, his 4 highest target totals of the year. What's clicking for him and you in the offense right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to go back at the end of the year and look at why it didn't click sooner. I really felt like early in the year we were going to have some of the games that he's had over the last few. I know he's feeling as healthy as he has all year long. He's playing confident football right now. I know Jared has a lot of faith in him. I certainly felt that way earlier in the year too. So I can't tell you why it's different now than it was before, but we've always seen him as an integral part of what we do in the passing game, and the ball just seems to be finding its way there right now.
There it is. That's Ben Johnson, Lions offensive coordinator. And talking a little bit about Sam Laporta right there. And I think I have an explanation on why Sam Laporta wasn't getting as many stats. I mean, they were covering him at the beginning. That's what I think happened. They were covering him, and the Lions were running the offense and through Amon-Ra St. Brown or Jamison Williams, or Jahmyr Gibbs was having a big game, or Montgomery was having a big game, or Tim Patrick was having a big game. And then Sam Laporta had a big game. But here's the thing. As all those other guys started having big games. And then the defenses go, oh, well, we got to stop Tim Patrick and Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Well, Jared Goff is smart. So if you're going to leave Sam Laporta wide open, then he's going to throw it to Sam Laporta. That's why I'm saying the offense is unstoppable. Everybody's had their turn. Sam Laporta wasn't having a down year. It just wasn't his turn. And then it was his turn. We have an unselfish offense. That's what happened to Sam Laporta. He's unselfish. Oh, what? I'm not getting the ball as much. I better block better. So he's out there blocking. Springing Jahmyr Gibbs for 7.2 yards a carry the last time against Minnesota. We got unselfish players. That's why it's unstoppable, the offense. That's why it's the defense that you got to worry about. I'm not worried about the Lions offense. When it comes to this game, if you want to surprise me, with this Minnesota Vikings game coming up, you want to surprise me with it? Let it end 13-10. That would surprise me, because I think this is going to be an offensive explosion. One of the teams is going to score over 40 points. Maybe both of them. But we'll see. We'll see. Like, Minnesota plays good defense, but Ben Johnson cracked the code every time that they played him. Dominating offensive performance by the Lions. Jared Goff was 22 for 25 for 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Carved them up. Jahmyr Gibbs, 116 yards, 7.7 yards a carry. Amon-Ra St. Brown with 112 yards receiving. The Lions offense had complete ownership over the Vikings defense. Ownership. And that's just the facts of it. I think Minnesota Viking fan looks at what they do against all these other teams that aren't the Lions and say, yeah, we're going to, your defense, we have respect for your defense. But when you block a blitzing team, or how Brian Flores likes to send everybody or not, Jared Goff just carves up that type of defense. You're gonna have to change the way you play. But we'll see. The biggest game in regular season history. Your Detroit Lions versus the Minnesota Vikings. For everything. For everything. When have stakes ever been higher in the grand scheme here? Broski made a comment the other a little bit earlier in the show about I gotta find it. I gotta go find it. Come on. Because I can't remember. Well, I couldn't find it. So Danny's got us at 34-31. In the Zoe podcast is up in the house. You predicting a blowout? Have some respect, bro. Have some respect. Really? You think the Vikings are going to come into Ford Field and blow us out? Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I don't know. I could see it being a close game. I think it's going to be over 40s. I think it'll be like 40, 45, 38 Lions. There's not, I mean, you think you're going to hold us at 24 points? You're dreaming. You're dreaming. You're dreaming if you think you're going to hold this Lions offense to 24 points. How bad do you want it? That is a blowout. That is a blowout. 37-24 is a blowout. If it's by more than 10 points, it's a blowout. This is the NFL. That's complete disrespect. That's complete disrespect, especially for a team that's gotten beaten 4 straight. Dan Campbell has owned Kevin O'Connell. So you want to talk realistic. You want to come in here with your homeristic Viking takes. Okay. I ain't disrespecting your team. 14-2, 14-2. You got to stop Justin Jefferson. But we'll see. I'll eat my crow. But here's the thing. Dan Campbell realizes that this is a big regular season game. No doubt about it. But it's just a regular season game. Because the loser of this game is still, it has a shot in the tournament. As a matter of fact, I don't even know what would be better. You know, if the Vikings lose and get a chip, like put a chip on their shoulder, you got to go win a road game. Big deal. You got to go win a road game. The Lions are 8-0 on the road. So maybe both teams are making more. I mean, you get to get the NFC North crown, right? We like that. You like that? But are we making too big of a deal of it? I mean, it is the NFC North crown. It's a bye. It would make a huge difference for the Lions because we have the injuries and everything like that. But if the Lions have to go on the road and play a game, I mean, you win that one game and then there you are. You're in the same spot as the person with the bye. So it's not doom and gloom for the Vikings when you lose. It's not doom and gloom. As a matter of fact, it's hard to beat a team 3 times. If the Lions win this game, the Vikings are the last team I want to see for a 3rd time. Lions own the Packers this year. So I'm not worried about the Packers 3rd time. We're going to beat them 3 times. No, actually, you know, if you're rooting for anything, if the Lions win the game, you're rooting for, you know, Philadelphia to win, and then you're rooting for Tampa Bay or whoever wins that other division to win and just knock both of the North teams right out. But I doubt that's going to happen. The NFC North is just too damn good. Too damn good. I mean, is this the great the greatest division of all time? The Lions ain't going to score 40 points. Okay, even if the Lions don't score 40 points. The Lions have been scoring a lot of points lately. This offense looks a lot better running straight through Jahmyr Gibbs than it did with the target share with David Montgomery. I love David Montgomery. Don't get me wrong. But I'm telling you, this offense looks better running through Jahmyr Gibbs as the primary back. Now, is that dumb? Can he last the whole season? Maybe. I mean, maybe the two-back system is what's necessary. And now you got Jahmyr Gibbs with fresh legs going into the playoffs while all the horses, you know, like Aaron Jones and Josh Jacobs that have got 10 million carries as the primary back, they're getting wore down. Maybe that's the strategy of it. But I mean, it wouldn't surprise me in the Zoe. I mean, we would be gone, right? We're all predicting these high scoring games. And it ends up being, 17-14. That would be something else. That would make that would make me depressed on the offense. I mean, the Lions, without shooting themselves in the foot in the last game, and they had a fumble returned for a touchdown. I mean, if the Lions limit mistakes, they can't give points away to the Vikings. I felt like the Lions were the much better team, and that game was closer than it needed to be. It had to be won on a last-second field goal. And that's what happens when you give 7 points when your offense gives 7 points to the opponent. Kyle says that statistically speaking, yes, this year's NFC North has the highest win percentage of any division in NFL history. I think it's awesome. I mean, as frustrating as it is, and this is where, I don't want to talk crap about the Vikings. I don't want to talk crap about the Vikings. Because 14, they wouldn't go away. They wouldn't go away. I mean, and you can even look at both games that Minnesota lost. They could have won both of those games. The Vikings could be undefeated. Lions weren't out of that Buffalo game. And in that Tampa Bay game at the beginning of the season, they had 3 chances to win the game at the end of the game, and they didn't do it. They couldn't score. They couldn't put it in the red zone. So, even in the losses, both of these teams, I mean, wouldn't go away. You wouldn't go away in the Zoe. So, you deserve the credit. Everybody went from, we don't believe in the Vikings. And I didn't completely believe in the Vikings, but I was definitely more on the Vikings being good this year than most. When all the Viking fans were jumping off the ledge at the beginning of the season saying, please make all the injuries stop. Help. Make it go away. Make it stop. JJ McCarthy's down. What are we going to do? And I'm like, you got Sam Darnold. You think Sam Darnold isn't? It's like he's had a horrible go around to start it. I mean, you got drafted to the trash Jets. What did you think was going to happen? And then they move you down to the trash Carolina Panthers. What did you think was going to happen? Carolina Panthers had Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield on the roster at the same time and let both of them go and drafted Bryce Young. That might work out for him, but I mean, and then Darnold goes to what? The 49ers, plays backup, never really given a real shot. I mean, he's a young quarterback. I think that the Vikings should sign Darnold. I think that he would give you a hometown discount too. I think you get him for $40 million. You would get him for $40 million. He's gonna go get 50 somewhere else. But the Vikings should sign Sam Darnold to an extension. Extend him 3 years. It's okay. Let JJ McCarthy be the backup quarterback to Sam Darnold. It's not going to hurt him to learn. Lions got Hendon Hooker. He's developing. So I have no problem with the Vikings and the way they've done stuff. Kwesi had a couple boneheaded moves that I gave him a hard time. But it seemed like a couple of them ended up turning around, and I had to eat crow on it, and ended up being good. They ended up being good moves. You know, getting Danielle Hunter. You know, I thought they mishandled that situation. But it ends up working out because you bring in Grenard, who's a stud, and you draft Turner. You got younger. And that worked out. So you got to contend with the Vikings. So the Vikings aren't just going to go away. It has came to this. It's came down to this. 14-2 against 14-2. Who's going to make the plays? Who's going to make the big play? I think offenses are going to dominate this game. And whichever defense can get a turnover, takeaways turned into points, whoever gets more of those is going to win this game. Because I think that the Vikings defense is really good. But I think that the Lions offense is just a very bad matchup for the Vikings defense. They're going to have a hard time to stop this offense. Like I said, you got to do what the Buffalo Bills did, because he cracked the Buffalo Bills defense too. They stopped the first two drives, and then the Lions kept scoring. They just ran out of track meet. Josh Allen just kept the pedal to the metal. Because if you score over 40 points, you usually win those games. Your defense got to be better than that. Didn't get the stops there. Josh Allen is a machine. Maybe Sam Darnold will be the machine this week. Because if they can play a clean game, I think it's going to be a really close game. Lions playing the Vikings for the division, for the number 1 seed Hell, even coach of the year. You've been watching the Lion Villain Report. I'm your host, Russell Wayne. You can join me every day at 10 a.m. Spend a couple hours talking football, talking about Lions. We're heading into playoff season. It's exciting times. Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. And you should watch it. It could be good for you. It could be good for you. It could be good for your life. You can follow the Villain Squad Facebook page at Lion Villain Squad. The Villain Report is on Roku, the Huddle Sports Network. Lions Villain Squad YouTube page at Lions Villain Squad. Thank you to those that subscribe. We are the UDFA of sports podcasting. Like, comment, share, all that stuff. That helps. That helps because we're grinders. We're blue collar. We're not the best podcast, but we'll keep grinding until we are. Main Event Football Show with Main Event Mike. You can join him 7 p.m. on Monday nights. He's also here during the lock picks every week. Get your lock picks in versus the spread. You want to be guilty by association? You want to partner with the Villain Squad? You can do so. We have a network of over 150,000 people. If you own a business in Michigan and you're a Detroit Lion fan, you want to partner with the Villain Squad, get a hold of Main Event Mike, 810-620-2167. Harness the power of the villain. Villain Report brought to you by NFL Shop. NFL Swag. Use the QR code. Save up the 25% off of your order from our affiliate marketing partners at NFL Shop. It's faith, family, then football. In that order. We use football. Spend time with our family. We use football to create memories. We don't let football use us. Thank you for stopping by the show today. Tomorrow morning, doing more of the preview, give you the final injury report. We'll go over the Dan Campbell press conference. So thank you for stopping by today on this TGI Friday. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.
Hey, yo, the lies so that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, hands open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes wet. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose when I get to, never lose smooth on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running it, maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision that pay me, it's never this way. We indigenous, maybe we winning, it's crazy. Your opportunity.